Jake Muzzin, broken foot a little over a month ago. Looks like he'll get into a game, maybe two, with the Toronto Marlies this weekend.
Yeah.
As they're in Cleveland taking on the Monsters, which is, good news. The Leafs will be back together on Sunday for practice before they then take on the Nashville Predators Monday. What have you seen with, his time not being with the team that they miss with a player like that?
Well, I mean, the fact that, Dubas and company have been fixated on the right side for a better long-term look is one thing. But then you lose Jake Muzzin and Morgan Rielly on the left side, and, it's like Swiss cheese back there. So, you miss a lot with Jake Muzzin. You miss the physicality of him. And I'm not one, the game doesn't necessarily beg for that anymore. You like it when you have it. Toronto doesn't have a ton of it, but Toronto doesn't need a ton of it. But Jake provides some of that. And, he's sound defensively. And look, during his days in Los Angeles, he was often used on the power play, too.
Shoot it.
Yeah, they don't need him for that in Toronto, or at least at the moment they did, or prior to his injury, they didn't use him in that manner. But when I look at the Toronto Maple Leafs blue line, especially of the three unrestricted free agents, I think they'll move Cody Ceci.
Move him or move past him?
Both. But if there's
Could
a
they move
taker
him?
for, I think
there'd be a
could.
market for him?
I think you'd have to package him as something, right?
So you got to give another more attractive asset.
Yeah,
to take that
I think
asset
you'd.
in that
Yes,
contract?
yes. But when I look at those three, Tyson Barrie, there'll be lip service and all of that. He's earned his right to unrestricted free agency. Every player does, but he's earned his right to see how much he's going to get paid. This is his chance to hit the grand slam. Whether or not he gets there, we'll see with the remaining games. Jake Muzzin, I think he wants to stay in Toronto. In fact, I know he wants to stay in Toronto. As Bob McKenzie reported last week, there have been some preliminary discussions. None of the heavy lifting yet in a negotiation, but I think Dubas would be foolish not to try and re-sign Jake Muzzin for a lot of different reasons. And among them might be the fact that he could be affordable for what you're getting in return.
I did hear you yesterday on Overdrive. You were talking about the market when it comes to defensemen, how it's changed from the beginning of the season to now, but even when it comes to bottom pairing guys. Why is that? It's more expensive now.
It's supply and demand. And the supply is there, but it's not just bottom pairing guys. You look at Carolina, loses Dougie Hamilton for 3+ months. You don't replace Dougie Hamilton.
No. But
you do try and find a piece that can help you out. That can bolster that blue line. And Don Waddell's looking for a top four guy. Some believe that he might include Jake Gardiner as part of that package again, similarly to Cody Ceci, although you've got an expiring contract in Cody Ceci. And there are many other teams that are looking. Earlier in the year, there was a list of defensemen available. And there's still some lower level guys. Zach Bogosian's still on the block. Colin Miller's still on the block. What's Montreal going to do with Scandella? Are they going to keep him? Probably not.
what about Jeff Petrie in Montreal?
There's lots of speculation around Jeff Petrie.
One more year in his contract. He'd be a good player on a good team.
So he made it on the Frank Saravalli trade bait board, but we ended up having Pierre LeBrun on the day that it was released, and he doesn't seem to think Bergevin wants to move.
I'd be really surprised.
Doesn't want to, but
I'd be surprised.
Yeah.
Again, for the reason you just talked about. Number one, he hasn't had a great year, to be fair, but he's proven that he's a very good defenseman. And you're right. If he's available, he'll be moved, plain and simple. Matt Dumba, is available, not being shopped. It's the old semantics game.
Right.
But he's available too. But if you're looking solely for depth guys, then the market's different because, those players are always available at or around the trade deadline. But if you're looking for something more substantive, like the Maple Leafs are, like Carolina is, there's some discussing whether or not the Vegas Golden Knights could be looking to bolster that blue line. Not long ago, we talked about that blue line being loaded with talent. So all of a sudden now the market shrinks, right, on those pieces.